Hello, good morning out there. Good afternoon or good evening, wherever you're watching us from. This is Afrinity Connect with Wilfred Adams. We have the singular honor to have live on the show this morning, the president of the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Idris Job, and also the CEO. They're both live and they're right at the headquarters of GCCI in Gambia right now. Let me go straight to Mr. President. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Fred. Thank you for inviting me.
It's good to see you. Thank you so much. And CEO, good morning to you.
Good morning, Adams.
Yeah, so we'll just go straight. Mr. President, I want to first of all thank you I want to congratulate you for 1 year anniversary of being a president of the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry. How do you feel, sir?
I feel okay, as far as possible during this difficult time of the pandemic of COVID-19.
I know. So, and then also, I want to also see how you're feeling during this COVID. How is everything with you also, the CEO?
Well, these are unusual moments, Adams, and it's all throughout the world, but particularly for small economies like the Gambia and so many micros and small medium enterprises. But we continue to be adaptive, and we're hopeful that we will have some business going forward.
Thank you very much. And Mr. President, I know the resume is so big. Being an oil person, you've within the Guinea-Bissau, Senegal, becoming the head region of the petroleum downstream sector. How will you talk about Idris Mas Job? What will you say? Who is Idris Mas Job?
I'm Banjul born and bred, and
wow.
So Banjul is an island, and you know that people in an island, they have what they call an island mentality. The world starts and stops within that island. But fortunately for me, I am very Pan-African because I have lived in most West African and East African countries. So I consider myself as a Pan-African entrepreneur and a leader of business.
Wow. Thank you so much. We'll go straight. How can you tell us about GCCI and the role of GCCI, Mr. President?
I know the CEO would do that better because he's been our CEO for quite a while, very competent and able. Yes, the GCCI is a members organization. It's an association of businessmen within the Gambia and their partners in Africa and beyond. And our sole purpose is to enhance the environment of doing business. We recognize that the private sector is the engine of growth, and that locations, countries do not compete. Africa is not competing with Europe. It is industries and businesses within Africa that would have to rise up and compete. When we say that Japan is competing with America, it's a competition between Toyota and Ford. And when we say that Germany is a competitive industry, it is not the German government, but German industries. This being the starting point, we need that industry needs a certain environment to be able to thrive. And that is the role of the GCCI, is to engage the parties that control the conducive environment, mainly the government and the community, to ensure that our businesses, like I have seen in the introduction of Affinity, are creative, are innovative. And that's the only way that we can take a lead and lead our people out of poverty.
Wow, that's a very powerful summary there. So I'll go to ask the next question to say, how has the pandemic, because we are living in a special time right now, how has the pandemic affected the chamber, particularly in the area of membership and other operations?
Yes, the pandemic, I tell people, is a business or sorry, it's a disease that kills mainly the people with underlying health conditions.
Yeah,
Same
that's true.
is true for countries and for individuals and for businesses. In the Gambia, the pandemic has revealed further that we have very serious underlying conditions. The first one being poverty. And most of the people in Africa in the private sector, they are not in formal corporate businesses. The formal corporate sector, everywhere in the world, is relatively small, but it's even smaller in Africa. So most of the people doing businesses in Africa are peasants in their villages, market women. And these people, the COVID has revealed that they have very serious underlying condition. And that underlying condition is poverty, lack of access to market. So what we have discovered during this time of COVID, that there were two solutions. One was to improve the health condition. And generally in Africa, governments do not have the resources to improve the health infrastructure within that period of time, like the Chinese did. So the only solution was social distancing, and this was impossible in our situation in Africa, not only culturally, but economically, because the African trader, the African farmer, the African communities, they live day by day. Every day they work, earn money, and it is that money that they use, go to markets, and then feed themselves. And then we have seen that social distancing was almost impossible. And that is why the COVID, we are lucky so far that it has not reared its ugly head in our land. But we are really worried that we are not ready as a country or as businesses with serious underlying conditions of poverty.
Yeah, definitely. That's true. I love the part where you said, is for those with underlying causes, and for those that are very active, we should be able to keep the ship, especially the SMEs. And I know many of them have been affected. So I noticed, the chamber has raised some funds to support the business community. How far with that project? And you want to tell us more about that during this pandemic?
I think the details of that, I will allow the CEO to come in. And but the philosophy is that both business and government, we rely a lot on the community. And when so business took a very responsible role to raise funds quickly and try to support first the community, because our members, most of them are so poor, and where they suffer is not in their businesses but mainly in their communities. And I'm sure the CEO would elaborate on that. Yes.
CEO, please, can you share more light on that also?
Yes, well, to start with, we were very pleased by the responsiveness of the business community, as well as private individuals, including young people, school children, and the most amazing anyone else from the street. So we really were amazed by their generosity. But also, I'm pretty sure, because the way we organized the program was both sensitization, awareness creation, as well as fundraising. We were able to achieve all these. But moreover, the fact that we were able to raise about 14 to 15 million dollars is cash, plus the generous partnership and donation of the UNDP of a minibus for the prison services, as well as another global business operator who renovated one of the clinics in preparation. So an overall target of $20 million was set by the president and the team. And overall, we were able to achieve this. So from the 15 million that was raised, we completely renovated the first treatment center called the sanatorium, and equipped it and got it ready so that all the patients that were eventually identified have been taken there for treatment. So we're very pleased that the private sector led that. The second part was also to see how we can support the prison service further to avoid any case incidents there. You would, of course, know that should such an outbreak occur at the prisons, they do not have the privilege of social distancing as well as good hygiene. And very often, this is a community that is forgotten. Then the third one is really all the micros and small enterprises that you mentioned that have suffered so much over the last 3 months because of the lockdown and also because everyone else had stayed at home. So business shut down. So it's been pretty dramatic. And from a recent study we conducted, we realized that 2/3 of all businesses have indicated that within the next 6 to 9 months, they will be grossly affected. So this is really something that we can live, we are living through today.
Wow, wow. And we can't wait to go back to normal life where things will begin to move because they say as blood is essential to human existence, that's how commerce, is essential to a country or a community. So this is very important, and I really appreciate the role the president, of course, CEO people are playing in the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And I want to ask, particularly with the members, what are those measures being adapted? Because these innovations, they are changing rules. What are those adaptations that are going on right now? What are those strategies are put in place for members to benefit, to go through, and also post-COVID, what is coming up for GCCI?
Post-COVID, we really believe that we have to learn to live with COVID. There might never be post-COVID. It's a question of adaptation.
That's true.
It's a question of adaptation. If we have this thing in mind, that this is, here to stay, in one form or the other, it's just that the way that we have destroyed our forest resources, the way we are exploiting our rivers, our seas. So the natural balance have been upset, and this will not change very, very quickly. So if we start with the premise that, yes, there is no post-COVID, we are going to learn to live with this disease and find a cure for it, then the solution is innovation. Like when you started with Afrinity, I saw you said innovation, creativity, and people are innovative when they are uncomfortable. Necessity is the mother of invention, and that's what entrepreneurs do. Entrepreneurs tend to find solutions when they are in corner. So we are hoping, as the chamber, and we've been saying this, that the business community is not looking for charity, because we believe that charity is just false generosity. What our entrepreneurs are looking for is, can we create an environment like a Silicon Valley environment where the young people with all their potential can be liberated, where their full potentials are liberated. Africa would have to find solutions. We cannot keep just getting the ITC, the World Bank, UNDP coming and trying to propose to us rubber stamp solutions from other lands with different cultures, with different political reality, with different socio-economic reality, different geographical reality. So, what we are advocating is that let the state remove all the barriers to the innovation of the young people. And they will find a way, they will develop new ways of living, of living through. If you look at the growth in our generation compared to our parents would never have thought that today we will have this tool that we are communicating live. Therefore, they could not have reinvented a feature that they were not going to live in. So what the future is going to look like, I find it sometimes very funny that it is being designed by elderly people like me, very close to our retirement. So the lesson that the chamber is advocating is, let us create that environment, train our young people with the right modern skills, IT, history, geography, maths, physics. We have to stop pampering our youths to tell them that, yes, we will give you money out of this. There is no way money would get us through. America is the richest country in the world, followed by China, and they were the countries that were most devastated. What is going to get us through this period, which I say existential challenge people, is that we have to innovate. We have to find the solution in our doorsteps.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Innovation, reinvention, repackaging, branding is the way forward, and definitely we see Africa as a future for the next industrialization. Definitely, the only place is coming would definitely be the African continent. And I want to agree with you. We need to be ready. We need to be creative. We need to go from our old ways to bring new inventions to change and create that conducive environment to receive that. That's good. Thank you very much, Mr. President. I want to go again and see you. I want to ask, what are those achievements so far at the chamber in the past 5 years? What are the achievements vis-a-vis, if there are challenges, if there's any?
Well, the reality is that our economies are still, particularly in the Gambia, dominated by micros and small entrepreneurs who face the huge task of or challenge of access to finance has been the #1 impediment to their growth and development. Very often, it's very difficult to access finance and credit from the banks, which are structured in such a way that they provide credit only for trade finance. So that's pretty difficult for long-term investors and entrepreneurs. The second part is also access and cost of energy, which is still too high and often not available all the time. The third challenge is the high rates of taxes that we have in the Gambia. Although we acknowledge that working with the Gambia Revenue Authority, we've made some progress, but we feel we still have a long way to go to make this more affordable and get more people to be compliant and certainly broaden the tax bracket. Of course, there is also the issue of access to markets. We continue to work at the Chamber where we try to promote local products and local content and to get the government to support our local entrepreneurs as much as possible. Then there's also the issue of capacity building to make sure that these entrepreneurs are able to run their businesses in a professional and entrepreneurial manner. So we continue to do this every day, and also through the trade fair that we organize annually, which has become now a trademark for the Gambia, to provide them with a platform so that they can interact both locally as well as with their counterparts in the region and elsewhere. So these are some of the things that we continue to do, but also provide them with certificate of origin so that if they want to send anything out of the Gambia, we give them authentication for that. Then also for the interstate road transit, you would know that the Gambia, to a large extent, is a trading economy, especially for the rest of the ECOWAS region, particularly Senegal, Guinea-Bissau, Guinea-Conakry, and Mali. So we also facilitate that on a day-to-day basis. So our work is cut out. On a day-to-day, we're supporting as many micros and small enterprises, but also being the voice of the private sector for the large companies in the public entity to make sure that the government is cognizant of the challenges and the opportunities of the private sector.
Wow, thank you very much. Thank you for that highlight. So as we, I know it's a busy time. It's an honor, privilege to have a CEO and president. I know your time is very, very, very important. So as we round up this very important interview, I want you to give us a general information about the chamber and also SMEs out there, or whether it's a large corporation, whatever it is. What message do you have to them, be it in Gambia or in the sub-region or wherever? What message is the president and of course CEO, what message are you giving out to everybody right now as we round up?
We should not lose hope. I think hope is life. And that's what I'm going to tell people. It is very easy to immediately lose hope and start downsizing. Behind every storm, there is also a silver lining. The world is going to change, and this change is going to be opportunity for entrepreneurs. So I'm just telling people, this is the hard part. Make sure that you go through this pain, because where there is no pain, there is no gain. So I'm telling the entrepreneurs, try to stick it out. Try to find how to continue surviving, because what's it called? The shadows are going to disappear, and a new world is going to emerge. And like you have said, in this new world, I believe that Africa is going to take its position. So I'm telling all entrepreneurs, let's weather the storm. Let's have hope. That is my message to people all over Africa. This is Africa's time.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. CEO,
thank
round
you.
up.
Well, we at the Chamber have been pleased of the trajectory that we've had over the last few years. Our representation is more indicative of our recognition and representation of the private sector in the Gambia. And we're very pleased that recently we've reactivated the National Business Council, which comprised both captains of industry and all sectors of Gambian society and entrepreneurship, plus 5 cabinet ministers chaired by the president and often delegated to the vice president. And here, again, as President Joe said, our role and certainly our pleasure is to continue to advocate and ensure that the voices of all the private sector, including the largest companies to the smallest lady selling something on the side road, or the youth who has an ambition to make a livelihood, are represented. And also to see how we can promote sustenance, as well as to ensure that they can grow and provide for their families and become successful entrepreneurs. So we will continue to do this on a day-to-day basis, and we're very pleased that we're making good progress. We also articulate these public entities and stakeholder forum that we hold with government on a day-to-day basis.
Wow, thank you very much. Mr. President, I know you're very, very busy. Time is important. So as we round up, and I want to thank you sincerely, and CEO, I want to thank you. I wish both of you all the best as you steer the shape of the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And hopefully we will also continue to do what we need to do to also promote the industry and talk about the Chamber, of course, its members. Thank you once again for joining Afrinity Connect with me.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, Adams. Keep up the good work.
Thank you so much. Has been the president of the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and of course the CEO. We're so privileged, honor to have them both this morning. You can check the website, Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry. They're right there. You can also go Google it. It's the best destination. They call the Gambia the smiling coast of Africa, tourist destination, a place to be. Thank you all for watching. We'll be back again with another edition of Afrinity Connect with me, Adams. Thank you. Bye.